So, from day one of having this RV, it has been a learning experience, to say the least. The latest project I have to tackle is the furnace. So the furnace has not worked since we got it. I don't know anything about furnaces. I had no idea why it wasn't working. I kind of was putting it off because I didn't really know how to fix it. I wasn't sure what to do. And I Googled a bunch of stuff. And so this weekend I planned on spending the whole, I get a 3-day weekend because I work 4/10s. But I planned on doing the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fixing this furnace. No matter what it took, pulling it out, getting it fixed. So that's been fun. Thankfully, we're still on day one. And I think I figured out the issue. We'll have a little trial period here. So far, it's been about half an hour. And so far, so good. But as long as I don't touch it. So I'll explain that in a minute. So I actually got a hold of a online technician for RVs, and I'll put a link below for them, but they were super helpful. It did take some time like to hear a response back from them, which, you know, it's fine. My whole day was dedicated to this, and you know, he'd instruct me to do certain things, and so it'd take me a minute to do them anyway. So then I'd be like, hey, what's next? Or hey, this is what happened. Anyways, that was super helpful for me. I have a basic knowledge of electricity, like you get shocked if you touch this, and not if you touch that. No, I have a little more than that, but I do have a basic knowledge, so that was helpful. But he was extremely helpful. He helped me troubleshoot things and go from there. But I'll put a link for them down below. And yeah, so what we started out doing was, well, long story short, so I think there might have been a couple of issues in this issue. One of them being the connection from the furnace to the thermostat wasn't reading properly. So that was deduced by, I actually took off the thermostat and I tested the wires. I found the blueprints for this online, the wiring diagram, made it simple, pulled these out of the wall, really nice connection. You know, put the blue's actually the ground, and then the white is the thermostat. No, I'm sorry, the white is the heat. And then these ones are the fan, high-low, and fan, high-low, and the air conditioning. Sorry. So, you know, I was able to test each one of these, and each one had a really good voltage, except for the white one, which is the heater. So, you know, the huge problem is that the heater was, it would initially kick on, but after it would kick on, nothing else would happen. Perhaps I should start with the initial issue of what the furnace was having. So the furnace, when we first got it, it kicked on. And then after it kicked on, it ran for a couple minutes and then it just shut off. There's no indicator light, there's no nothing, no reasoning, it just shut off. So I didn't know why. I couldn't get it to turn back on after that. I mean, it turned on, it blew hot air, it worked well, it heated it up in here because it was freezing, you know, because we hadn't been in here. Heated up, good to go, then it just shut off, couldn't get anything out of it. So then, you know, I tried here and there kind of looking at it, and I'm like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Anyways, I ended up ordering like a sail switch, another little switch, and a couple of parts for it, and I was like, I'm gonna fix this. I wasn't sure what it was, but if I was gonna pull it out, I wanted to have everything I needed in order to fix it, or replace it, or tune it up, or whatever. So I found a video originally that was talking about the connections of the wires, and on the I'm not sure what it's called, but the switch that has the reset button on it, sometimes that connection on the Atwood furnace is actually, it can go bad. So I just redid that connection, and then I got it to turn on again, but then it shut off. So I was like, okay, well, that's a start. So then finally I took the time to actually do all this and tear it apart. So anyways, back to the wiring. So in the wiring, this one was not giving us any power, really. Nothing was coming from this one coming out of the wall. Nothing was coming from the white one, which was the heat. So the wiring for our RV actually goes, our fuse panels here, and then this is our kind of kitchen cabinet right next to the refrigerator. The refrigerator's right here. So in here, sorry, it's kind of a tight spot. In here, I pulled it out, but this is the air vents, and then that's where the all the wiring for the furnace went. So I was able to trace the wiring back through here and double check all the connections, and there's one right here. Let me see if I can grab it. This connection right here is the white one that goes up to the thermostat. So I traced it all the way back here. I tested it here. This was still not connecting properly, and I wasn't getting what I should have from there. So then I was able to pull everything apart, and we'll go take a look at that. So I was able to pull out the circuit board, which is here, and take it all out and kind of go over everything that was in here. I went through and put new connectors on everything that had a little connector on there. They were all, I don't think I have, oh, here I do. They were all connectors like this, which I've never used those, but this kind of just seemed like a better connection for everything, a little more stable. So I went through and reconnected these. The sail switch, because it took me a while to figure it out, is actually right here in this furnace. And to access that, you don't have to take this whole thing out. You just have to take off this half of the motor cover, which is just that screw. And there's a little screw up here. This one down here. And this one right here. So it's not the ones, sorry, I think that's blurry. It's not the ones in the far back, it's just the ones in the front, and that just removes this front half of the cover. And then after you get that off, the sail switch is just right there. I ended up putting new connectors on the sail switch as well, just to be safe, and new connections on all this. This was the one that they originally said could be the main issue, which I did figure out. Power was going in, but there wasn't power coming from, like, there was power coming out here, but it wasn't going to the wire. So I originally switched that out and got a little more, you know, one more on from that, but then nothing else. So then I redid all the connections, and once I did that, I think it was just a loose wire, and then the issue with the thermostat. So I was putting it back on, and I actually removed this, so I thought I'd show you guys. So this piece goes on the front right here, but inside this panel, minus the wiring there, comes off, and then that's where the sail switch is, which it actually took me a while to figure that out, but that's where that's at. So what I did notice with this as well is that every time, because I had this in my hand, you know, and I was turning it up or low, or I was, you know, doing the switches with my other hand, obviously, and I noticed that whenever I would, you know, flip the switch and I'd turn to like see what was going on and then put it down, things would turn off, and then it would turn on again. So I was like, okay, that's weird. So I checked these connections up here. These were all pretty good. So I don't know if it's a connection down here, and if it is, there's not much I can do about that because I don't know how to resolder stuff. But I ordered another one of these just to be safe. We're going to install that, you know, just to cover our bases. But yeah, well, I mean, so far so good. It's been turning on. I've been sitting here warming. It's cold outside, so I've been trying to warm up a little bit. Got a cup of coffee, and I was just put it to the kind of temperature we're at now to force it to kick off and kick on more times, just to make sure it does. And it's kicking off just fine and kicking on just fine. So yeah, thankfully it was an easy fix. Easy, not so easy, but yeah, just gonna order a new thermostat, and one of the connections was bad going to it, but it took some time and energy to get to that conclusion, but thankfully that conclusion was came to, and we should be nice and warm now. Thank you guys for watching the True North Lesbian channel. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe so you stay tuned on all our upcoming videos.